Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Modeling Joe's Arcade. This time around, it's going to be kind of like a troubleshooting episode and maybe a couple bits of artwork. Background music is going to be kind of this good standby Arctic Empire's 19 chill step mix. Be linking that in the description. Yeah, and like I mentioned, this is going to be mostly a troubleshooting exercise, I think, at first. So one thing I just discovered, and I figured I should come back and actually show this off, is I was having trouble with this phasing popcorn logo before. If I take this whole thing and I explode it, then it doesn't phase so much anymore. Now, is it working like I expected it to right now? It's not. Before I had it looking really, really beautiful, so that's kind of a bummer. Let me take a look, see what I can do about that. There we go. If I blow up both of those components within this thing, then it looks all right. The back one looks really good too. It's kind of got me wondering what happens if I explode this, and lo and behold, that popcorn shows up better. And if I blow this up, that popcorn stays about the same. I think it's because I just blew up the wrong thing there. Yes, it is. So there is kind of a let's not do that. There's a little bit of a solution to the problem I was having before with that. I'm going to just pull that out ever so slightly too to prevent that phasing issue. So, and this too. Once you get started, you can never stop with this kind of thing, I tell you. There, though. That kind of makes this a little bit better of a model. Looks a little bit nicer. Still have it in a single group. Got one more pane of glass here that I can blow up and really show off that popcorn. Oh. So next thing I want to kind of fix up here is I had a couple things mislayered. On the ceiling layer, I think I had a lot of this conduit, and there's also a extra layer here that I don't want. I wonder if I just delete that. Yeah, if I delete this layer, which everything in this popcorn machine is on, looks like I can move it to the current layer, which is where I want it. So I'll just do that anyway. Yeah, I want to get the conduit off of the ceiling layer. So I think I was going to do this off camera, but I think I found a kind of interesting way to do it that somebody might be interested in seeing. Basically, I'm going to set ceiling as my current layer, and then I'm going to turn off everything else. And this way, I can just come in here and select all my pieces of conduit. And basically everything that I want here that's not on the ceiling layer, or to not be on the ceiling layer, I can explode them. And I'm going to select everything and then deselect everything that I don't want. That didn't work quite as well as I thought. There we go. And this is a trick I use when I'm working with AutoCAD all the time. I'm going to grab it and move it around just to kind of see what I've got in my selection set, make sure it's what I think. Go back to selection mode, and I'll just change these from ceiling to details. And now I'm going to turn details back on. I'll make that my current layer. I'll turn ceiling off. And I can come through and proceed to set these back to being groups. So I definitely don't want to leave a mess for future me. Or at this point, probably future Joe, because I'm getting pretty close to having this thing wrapped up, I think. Oops. This piece is on details and it's grouped, so it must not be on the right layer. Now I'd say it is. Oh, that's because I worked around. So there we go. Got details on. Can't hide the current layer. Let's make layer 0 active, and yep, there we go. So go ahead and turn the floor and my walls and my furniture and everything back on. It's pretty cool to see how that can flicker on and off. So yeah, I would say that's another useful thing to have done here. So I'm going to pop back into my my model here, and I've got a whole bunch of pictures, and I think I'm going to take a moment to put a little bit of art on the walls. This might not be the most beautiful thing, but just kind of flipping through pictures again here at this point. Hopefully it can add something to the room. Got all these fun pictures and you know, pieces of art and stuff to play with. And I'm liking this Three Stooges poster. I think I'll just do that here real quick. So I'm going to go in and get this thing. This is 2019-06-02, and it was taken at 10:03 in the morning. 10:03 36. Where's my ability to look at things? There we go. So I'm going to copy this into my textures folder. I'll call it Sultans of Slapstick. And I'm going to open this with Paint. Paint just is a phenomenal program for this kind of stuff. I'm going to grab it here and crop it down a little bit. Reduce the size almost by 3 times there I did. And I'm going to resize it again. We'll make it 50% the size. Doesn't have to be the most enormous, you know, detailed texture of all time. There we go. Okay, yeah, so we will save that. We've dropped it quite a bit in file size. Actually, I'm going to resize it again. I'm going to make the vertical 512. which is a pretty common texture dimension. Now granted, textures are often square, but SketchUp, as we've kind of covered before, is pretty lenient with that kind of thing. And just looking at my notes that I've got off to the side, unfortunately, again, can't see those this time around because they're from later date. The Three Stooges poster is 32nd of an inch or so thick, and it's 11 by 16 in dimension. So I'm going to create a new layer called artwork. Spell it wrong as many times as I can while I'm in the process of doing so. And we will just create an 11 by 16 shape. And we'll pull that out a 32nd of an inch. I'm going to create a new material. Call it Sultans of Slapstick. And I want to use a texture image. Go to Joe's Arcade and grab that. I'm going to make this 11 inches by default. It looks like it's not, the proportions of the photo aren't totally right, but it should come out pretty well, I think. Make it 100% opaque. And that is our current material. So I will go ahead and paste it onto this thing. And now I will position it like you typically do. I'm going to scale it up a little bit. And there are a couple adjustments I can make here just within SketchUp to kind of square it a little bit. We'll see if any of them really help me out. Really, the image I've got is not half bad. I could always use the GIMP method as well to true it up just a little bit. Looks like I am pretty close though. If I did distort this a little bit, what would I be after? And holding Control here to disable snapping. If I distort it just to like that, it's a little bit more square. Which I think looks good. There I dragged it just a little bit larger than I want to actually, so that I can drag it back and make an incremental size change without having to words are failing me, deal with the snaps. Let's see, that's on and that's on. I think I've got that placed. We're going to undo that because I've just destroyed all my hard work. And I'm going to colorize the edges with the same poster. I'm not going to really worry about positioning that. Just trying to get something on here that's got the same, you know, rough hue in case you catch it at an angle. And we'll go ahead and group that. So there we go, we've got our Three Stooges poster. And maybe we'll do another one here. I'm going to mark that off as done. And I want to come back up here real quick, and I want to rename this thing 29.602.10.03.36. I'm going to rename that also and put Stooges on it, just because then I can come back in here and be like, ah, that's where my pictures are at. Okay, let's do this one. This is a comic strip. Well, not really a comic strip, kind of a comic story called Indian Summer that says down here it's by John T. McClutchan from 1907. Wow, it's pretty old. I'm lingering on it here, so if anybody's really interested, they can probably make out those words on the screen. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this into the model as well. So same process here. I'm going to copy that. And we will paste it in here. Ah, cancel. Now I will note that obviously that term in the title is a little bit questionable to use now, but it's got a good message in the strip. I'm going to once again pull this open with Paint. If I get something really problematic, and I've got the wrong, what have I done here? I've got the wrong thing going. Just call that Joe's since I can ID it right now. Now I want the 10:01:17. That's where I was wrong. And we'll put that in my textures. And we will open that with Paint. This is definitely not as straight on as the other one, so we'll see what SketchUp can do as far as correcting that. That said, I have a pretty easy select here. So I will crop that thing. Save it, halved the file size right there. And we will make that dimension 512. Will we? No, I think we'll keep this at full dimension just because there's a lot of little text in here. And I'm hopeful that you'll be able to read it in the SketchUp model if you try. We'll see if that really works, especially because I'm going to have to adjust it here. This poster is 12.5 inches by 18 inches. And it's a 1/16 of an inch thick. And we will naturally name that and come in here, grab it. I'm going to rename this with underscores just because I underscored the other one. It's good practice with texture type applications. We're going to start this at 12.5. Nope. 18. 12.5. Kind of strange that it's, well, behaving this way. And if you really look there, you can kind of make out some words. That's neat. I like that a lot. Anyway, I want to do my texture positioning. It's going to have to get a little bit larger. I guess since it's mounted on this cardboard backing, I don't have to get it as precise as maybe I otherwise would. But I am going to take the trouble to do just a little bit of shear correction here. We'll drag that over. Just a little bit high on that side. Cool. I'd say we've got that. Yep. Mary, I can't quite read that what that says. Yep, sunny. Well, anyway, it seems to have worked pretty well. You can see a little bit of wear on the cardboard even, which is nice. And it looks like I don't have it quite tall enough for me to be happy. So I'm gonna adjust that just slightly. This is a trickier one than I expected. Oh, I don't want to do that. Whoa. Alright, I'm doing something I've never done before there. That's the fun of SketchUp though. There's always more stuff to figure out. I'm going to drag this, just size it again. I've got this thing ridiculously close to what I want it to be. There, that ought to do it. Just a tiny little upscale there. Good on that corner. Good on that corner. I actually like showing a little bit of the wear too. It adds depth to the thing. There we go. I dare say we've done it. I'll apply the texture. Oh, don't do that. On the other one, I did not make any of these changes for positioning of this, but I am going to do this one just because I'm not a huge fan of the wall showing up like that. So I'm just gonna do one of those, make it cardboard on the side at least. And let's do that one. again, just some cardboard. Okay. I'd say we've got 2 good pictures there. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode for now. But we'll come back, do the rest of this artwork. And I think there's 1 or 2 more pieces of furniture and 1 or 2 more cabinets that it sounds like we're going to get modeled for us here. So, yeah, thanks for watching as usual. And see you next time on Modeling Joe's Arcade. Bye-bye now.